Chief Mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
They're Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. They're laboratory mice. Their genes have been spiced. They're Pinky and the Brain. Brain.
Welcome to Pinky's Podcast, Week 12. The week where the only good thing that happened was Rob Gronkowski isn't out for the year. Start with some scores. Ben lost to Kyle. Kyle put up 95. Ben had 67. Bad week from Ben. Pretty good week from Kyle. Kyle strung together a few wins recently. So Kyle moves to 4-8 on the season. He's trying to get a decent record. And Ben is now 6-6. I think that might be on the outside of the playoffs looking in. Not sure. I know 500 is like right around the edge. Beat down. Absolute massacre. Dwyer won 153-77. If it wasn't for 16 points out of fucking the Ravens defense last night, Eddie would have had 61, which would have been real embarrassing. Real embarrassing. A 92-point loss would not have looked good. I mean, Dwyer just had everybody who scored touchdowns on his team this week. Unreal performances. I mean, you're not going to beat 153. Matt Stafford is never going to put up 34 points ever again. Actually, he might, because every once in a while he just chucks the ball like 50 yards deep to Calvin Johnson every play, and again, shitty secondaries, it works. Can't wait to face the Eagles next week for the Patriots after what fucking Detroit did to them this week. Adrian Peterson had a huge game. Calvin Johnson had a huge game because Matt Stafford had a huge game. AJ Green put up a pretty good performance. And, I mean, just respectable performances from the rest of his team. But there were quite a few big games on his team. So congrats to Dwyer. He's now 4-8. And Eddie's 8-4. So that game didn't really matter for anything because I think Eddie still has the best record, tied for the best record in the league. Dwyer's tied for the worst. So congrats, Dwyer. I hope you enjoyed that meaningless win. Jeff beat Espo. This was a big game. Probably one of the bigger games of the week. 89-82. Real close game. Espo made a push towards the end of the night last night with Travis Benjamin. Or whatever the fuck his name is. I think it's Travis Benjamin. It's just T. Benjamin. That's the only time I ever see it because the Browns fucking suck. Espo starts chirping me the other day because he didn't play Deshaun Jackson. I forget what exactly my advice was to him. Turned out, not playing Deshaun Jackson was probably the right fucking move. I mean, you're not going to start Deshaun Jackson over Randall Cobb. That's fucking stupid. But Travis Benjamin and Brandon Marshall had huge games. 16 points from Benjamin, 25 from Brandon Marshall. So Deshaun Jackson's 2 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Not that good. But big win for Jeff. Close game too. I wish I really cared about this league for the rest of the season because that was a big game. Jeff's now 7-5, Espo 6-6. That could be the difference for a playoff seed. Puts Jeff in pretty good shape actually. Because then we have Brian, who lost to Barnsey 102-85. Brian's now 8-4. Barnsley's 6-6. Good game for Barnsley. Needed that win to stay in the playoff picture. So right now, it's Brian, Eddie, and Jeff in the playoffs with with a bunch of 6-6 teams. So you guys are fighting for your life next week. That should be fun. I'm going to have to hear from Davis. I'm going to have to hear from Espo. I'm going to have to hear from Barnsey. I'm going to have to hear from Ben. I guarantee every single one of you will be texting me on fucking Sunday. Probably starting on Thursday. Bitching about your teams or can you believe this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, by week 13, pretty much everything's predictable in fantasy football. I mean, you might get a shit game from somebody, but somebody else on your team will go off. Unless you're Davis, who I beat by a hideous score of 65-53. Davis is now one of those 6-6 teams, like I mentioned. His team stinks. Absolute dog poop. I don't know why he still has Carlos Hyde on this team. I don't think the guy's played in like 10 weeks. Absolutely ridiculous. Dexter McCluster and CJ Spiller are still sitting there on his bench like there's not better options in the waiver wire. There might not be because now we're going into week 13 and everybody's kind of scooped up the good players. Whatever. I can't say anything. Marshawn Lynch is still on my bench for some godforsaken reason. I don't know. Might drop him. Somebody might be able to pick him up for like the last fucking week of the playoffs. If he's even back by then. Tom Brady carried my team. My team sucked. Absolute dog trash. Besides Brady. And Davis's team was dog trash besides LaShawn McCoy. He put up 14 points. By far the highest score on Davis's team. Besides Aaron Rodgers, but 13 points out of Aaron Rodgers is a huge disappointment. So, I got to take a peek now, see what the playoff picture looks like. Because I don't know who has the tiebreakers so far. If I can click on the right fucking buttons. So right now it's Brian's the 1 seed. Don't know how that works. Eddie's the 2 seed. I think it's total points 4 is the tiebreaker. So Eddie's the 2 seed, Jeff's the 3 seed, and Barnsey's the 4 seed. So right now, if Barnsey wins next week, I'm assuming he's in the playoffs. But once again, nothing surprises me with this league. Now my phone's just not working, so I can't even look up the total points for. This is what you guys come to this podcast for. Just real brimming enthusiasm. A lot of passion and concern for what's going on in this league. A shitty iPhone 4 that won't do anything. Tremendous. I don't know how I haven't won like a fucking award for this thing yet. Alright. Gotta go on the desktop now to try and fucking find out. Total points 4 must be the tiebreaker. I'm pretty sure that's what it's been set up for like the 3 fucking years well, the last 2 years, because the first year we did head-to-head tiebreakers and I felt like fucking Rain Man trying to figure out how that was gonna work. And it didn't go the way that I thought it would. So, yeah, Barnsey has 1,056 points for, and yeah, that's the most out of the 6-6 teams. So pretty much all of you have to root for a fucking Barnsey loss, because Espo has 974, so he's about a 80 down from fucking Barnsey. I don't think he's gonna make that up this week. Davis has 988. Don't think he's going to make that up. And Ben has 982. Don't think he's going to make that up. So pretty much if Barnsey loses and those 3 teams win, which I'm not even sure that could happen, then they're all pretty close together. They could battle each other for like the shit seed. Actually, I'm starting to wonder if I could get in the playoffs if all you 3 fuckers lose. That would be entertaining. I'm facing Barnsey, so that should be interesting. Ben's facing Brian. I'm rooting for a Brian win there. Just Ben deserves it after that fucking picture last week. Just rooting against him. I'm out of the playoffs. Davis and Espo are facing each other next week. Whatever. That should be interesting. So, pretty much, if I beat Barnsey, Brian beats Ben, playoffs come down to Davis and Espo and who can win that matchup. Because the two last place teams are facing each other, Kyle and Dwyer, battling to see who gets the fucking 7 seed. No, we're in a 10-person league, that's right. Battling to see who gets the 9 seed. And then Jeff and Eddie are playing each other. I don't know. That could be interesting. If Eddie wins, then Jeff might... Jeff will still be in the playoffs because he's got a ton of points for it too. He's fucking... Jeff has the most points in the league by about 100 points. That's why I'm surprised he's fucking in he's not even, he's 7-5. I don't know how that happened, but so should be interesting. Jeff's in the playoffs at this point. Eddie's in, Brian's in. And it's a fucking shitstorm. So have fun this week. I'm gonna try and ruin Barnsley's playoff chances. Not really, though. I'm going to put together a lineup. That's about it. Hopefully everybody actually starts. Whatever. I don't know. It might be interesting to play spoiler. But I kind of feel bad doing that to Barnsey. Yeah. But I'm not going to purposely lose. That's some bitch shit. So, good luck to everybody this week. Should be interesting to hear all you guys bitch and moan. See you next week.